U.S. corn exports are on track to have one of their best years on record during the 2024 and 25 marketing year. That is due to continual growth in shipments to Mexico as well as broad growth among key importers. Significant export growth to Mexico occurred due to historical drought and moisture degradation. However, recent rainfall in the region could lead to a recovery in crop production and reduce reliance on imports. As of the week ending June 12th, U.S. corn exports for the 2024-25 marketing year are up 29% from a year ago at 2.1 billion bushels, a 29% increase from the five-year average as well. Exports rose across most markets, though shipments to China fell sharply, down 100% from the five-year average. Otherwise, while year-to-date exports to Mexico experienced sizable growth from the previous season, exports to South Korea saw the most impressive growth, followed by Japan and Colombia. Additionally, volumes exported to the rest of the world grew 80% year over year. Data from the U.S. Census Bureau showed that exports to Mexico since September increased 41% from the previous year in the 2023 and 24 season. That compares to only 11% growth in exports in the current season. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, long-term drought has been ongoing across portions of Mexico since the winter of 2022 and 23. Widespread drought hit Mexico's most agriculturally productive regions, and after production hit a record 28 million metric tons during that season, output was slashed by 16% to 23.5 million metric tons. That forced the country to turn to the U.S. for more supplies, importing a record 16.1 million metric tons or 636.2 million bushels during the 2022 and 23 season. Since then, Mexico's imports have only grown larger as weather problems persisted. Last spring, nearly 76% of the country was experiencing drought, clocking in the driest May on record, and that led to another reduction in corn output during the current season. Nearly a year later, the North American Drought Monitor showed that only 46.5% of the country was experiencing D1 to D4 drought. Production is expected to recover to 24.5 million metric tons, but will still remain 5% below the five-year average. Satellite imagery data shows that Mexico received much-needed rainfall in May, leading to improvements in root zone soil moisture. However, below-average rainfall over the past few weeks has already led to worsening moisture conditions due to substantial deficits in groundwater moisture. Matt Reardon, a senior atmospheric scientist with Nutrien Ag Solutions, says parts of Mexico could receive a substantial amount of rain to finish off June, though the major corn areas in the northwest part of the state could miss out on some of that precipitation. Forecasted heat in the central and northwestern U.S. could bring above-average monsoonal activity in July and August, increasing storm activity in major growing areas. Large supplies have kept U.S. corn exports competitive in the global marketplace and kept shipments above or near the five-year average for much of the current marketing year. The U.S. accounts for about 90% of Mexico's total corn imports. Recent spats between the U.S. and Mexico over tariffs and foreign policy could dampen trade relations, but fortunately, Mexico's involvement in the U.S.-Canada-Mexico agreement could likely keep Mexico as a traditional corn buyer for the U.S. U.S. corn exports have surged on strong demand from drought-stricken Mexico, but improved rainfall and rising domestic output could cool import needs in the year ahead. Continued U.S. competitiveness and stable trade relations will be key to sustaining export strength. Thanks for watching. I'm Dawson Schmidt, and this has been a special report from Trader PhD.